Hello everyone, my name is Harshita Jain and I'm currently an intern at Lexis and Company. Today I'm going to talk about section 498A of the IPC and its misuse. So first of all, what is section 498? This came as a significant addition to the Indian Penal Code which was introduced in 1983 to safeguard the rights and empowerment of women. Under Section 498A of the IPC, extortion of any form of property by subjecting a woman to cruelty is punishable. The Government of India amended the Indian Penal Code 1860 by way of the Criminal Law Second Amendment Act 1983 on December 1980, 26 December 1983. The word cruelty has been described in broad terms as to include causing physical and mental harm to the body or health of the women and indulging in acts of harassment with a view to coerce her or to her relations to meet any unlawful demand for any property or valuable protection. The section was enacted to deal with the Treaty of Dowry Deaths. It was implemented in the code by the Criminal Law Reform Act of 1983. By the same act of section 113A has been added to the Indian Evidence Act to raise presumption regarding abetment of suicide by married women. The main aim of the IPC section 498A is to shield a woman who is being abused by her husband or her husband's relatives. Harassment for dowry falls within the sweeping of the section's latter limb, and creating a condition that pushes the women to commit suicide is always one of the ingredients of cruelties. It states that if such a woman is subjected to cruelty by a husband or relative of women's husbands, then he shall be punished with imprisonment for a period of up to 3 years and is also liable to fine. The crime under section 498A is cognizable, non-compoundable and non-liable. Now some of the ingredients of the section are: first, that the women must be married; second, she must be subjected to cruelty or some kind of harassment; third, such cruelty or harassment must have been shown either by the husband or the women or by the relative of a husband. In the case of Kalya Perumal versus the state of Tamil Nadu, the Honorable Court held that in offences under each sections of 304B and 498A of the IPC, cruelty may be a common element. Nevertheless, two sections are not reciprocally inclusive. Each articulate offence connected with guilty persons under section 304B of the dowry death offence shall be guilty of any offence under section 498A of the IPC. ठीक है. Section 304 does not contain its definition but further applies in section 304 the concept of cruelty or abuse specified in section 498A. Under this section, cruelty alone amounts to a related crime, while under section 304B, the offence relates to gift, death, and that death should have occurred during the 7-year marriage period. However, no such sum is stated in 498A. Now, how the misuse is being done in the modern era of the section 498A. A violation of this section, especially done by women, by creating frivolously false allegations against their husbands with the goal of getting some money or just paining the family, just frustrating the other person. This section's abuse is increasing, chop and chop. Therefore, the ladies usually apprehend their husbands. In the case of Sarita versus R. Ramachandran, the court noted the reverse trend and requested a non-cognizable and bail offence from the Law Commission in Parliament. However, it was the court's requirement to condemn wrongdoing and to shield the victim from what happens once the victim becomes the abuser. Here is what I'm just in the case of on this ground, the lady gets divorced. Her husband divorced from her husband and remarry, or in the form of compensation may gain cash. In the case of Chandra Bhan versus State, the Honorable Court introduced some of the steps to prevent the misuse of this section. First, FIR should not be regularly reported as such. Second, police endeavor should be carefully screen complaints and such register and then register FIR. Third, no case should be registered under Section 498A or 406 IPC without prior authorization of DCP. Then fourth, before FIR registration, all possible reconciliation efforts should be made, and if it is found that there is no possibility of settlement necessary, steps should be taken in the first instance to ensure that Sridhan and dowry articles are returned to the complainant. Fifth is the arrest of the key accused can only be made after a proper investigation and with the prior approval of the ACP or DCP has been performed. Sixth, in the case of collateral accused such as in-laws, prior approval of DCP should be there on the file. Now, hence, the question is what remedial steps can be taken to discourage misuse of the well-intentioned clause. Just because the provision is constitutional and intra-vires, it does not really allow unscrupulous people to wreak personal vendetta or unleash harassment. Thus, it is necessary for the legislature to find out ways to deal appropriately with the makers of the frivolous complaints or allegations. Until then, under the current system function, the courts have to take care of the situation. The new unlawful terrorism can be unleashed by the misuse of the provision. The object of the law is to use a shield and not to not the arms of an attacker. There is no question of the investigative agency and courts treating the allegations lightly. In matters revolting to dowry, torture, death, and cruelty, they cannot follow any straitjacket formula, and it cannot be lost sight that the ultimate aim of legal system is to reach the truth, punish the guilty, and protect the innocent. Some preconceived idea or perception has no scope. The complainant strongly claims that the enforcement agencies and the courts begin with presumptions and the accused are guilty, that the plaintiff speaks the truth. This argument is too broad and generalized. Some statutory presumptions are drawn which are again reprehensible. It should be noted that the role of the investigating agencies in the courts is watchdogs and not that of a bloodhound. Their intention will to be ensure that an innocent person is not made to suffer because of baseless, groundless, and malicious accusations. It is equally undisputed and that there is no direct evidence available in many cases that the courts must act on a circumstantial evidence. The law developed in relation to circumstantial evidence must be held in mind with dealing with these cases. Now what happens, many women's right teams go against the concept of making the crime a non-cognizable and bailable one, assuming that this gives the defendant a chance to escape prosecution. What this might do though, that it will provide the individual a chance and in turn promote the accomplishment of the ends of justice. Justice will protect the weaker and ensure that the wrongdoer gets a chance to say back his or her due. When ladies suspect their husbands below Section 498A by making the crime and unrecognizable if the person is innocent, he does not get a quick opportunity to urge justice, and the delayed justice is denied justice. That the lawmakers will prescribe how to create this section objectively to someone who has decided that the right party is punished and therefore justice is granted to the wrong person. Ladies' role continues to be dangerous in India. They still want rights in society to mitigate themselves, but many times they neglect to consider the rights of others as long as their unit in the area of rights is guaranteed. These days, educated ladies should believe the slogan of equality and relentless demand, but the pattern is slowly getting reversed. Because of these false accusations and immoral exercise of Section 498A, the innocent, that is the husband and his family, are exponential to suffer. Some of the men give up and commit suicide during this period of hardship and uh, ignominy. Here, the law must exercise the power with, thorough investigation and cross-examination of the whole matter in, in a legal and proper manner without any biasness. So, if there are any questions, any doubts, anything, do mention them in the comment box. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.